And we had a few different houses that we can use. And yeah.
Sorry, 2 to 3 grand a day is quite a bit of money for someone who's 16.
Yeah.
What were you spending it on?
So yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Yeah. So I would say I was about 17 when it got to like 2 to 3 grand a day. You know, around Christmas you might earn about 4 grand in a day. Do you know what I mean? But it's not all profit. Profit wise, it was about £700 or £800 a day. If you're like, so when you're paying the workers, you're paying the drivers, then you're paying what the reload is, whatever you're reloading on. And then what's left over is like for yourself kind of thing. So it turned out that I was making about £700 a day.
Still,
profit.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, it was decent. And I dropped out, like, so at the same time when I had someone working there, I was going to college in London, and then I just didn't really see the point in college because I had a young mindset.
What were you studying?
IT, because at them times, IT was like it was a big thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
Still is, yeah.
yeah. Now, but like back then, it was like computers were not new, but it was kind of like, you know, yeah. So I thought I can get involved in IT and do something with my life. Do you know what I mean? And just want to say before then, like, because I had a few opportunities in life, and this is kind of why I do what I do. But before then, when I was like 15, 16 as well, I used to weightlift, and I was a London champion, qualified for the 2008 Olympics. And yeah, and I've never said this before, but people probably wouldn't believe it. Do you know what I mean? Because I've lost so much weight now, but yeah, I used to weightlift professionally, and I've won every competition I've been in. Wow. And I had a scholarship for Loughborough, and what had happened was we had the European Championships, and this is when I was still in school, but I was still doing what I was doing, but I was doing the weightlifting thing as well. And it was the European Championships, and then we had gone to a party the night before, and it's the biggest mistake I've probably made in my life. Gone to this party, and at the time we had the whole Wood Green and Tottenham thing. There's like major beef back then. I think this is when the beef even just first started. And we was at this party in Tottenham, and the Wood Green kids came down, and shots were going off. You know, it was kind of mad. And then one of my close friends, he got stabbed in his neck. Yeah, and back then it was like, wow, kind of thing. We've gone to the hospital. I was in the hospital with my man, and yeah, that night basically, by the time everything had kind of settled, we had to leave. We had to be in the coach for like 6 a.m. So it's like, and bear in mind, I had been working with this trainer for a lot, because I just used to go gym, and then there was like, oh, why don't you come do weightlifting? My coach, and he's like an old school ex-army. He was a world champion himself in weightlifting, and he put all his work into me, and you know, I never used to pay for anything, and like he just used to put work into me. Like there's another, I don't know if you've seen the Paralympics, the guy Ali, he's got like no legs, and he does weightlifting, powerlifting.
I haven't seen him. Have you guys?
He's like the British champion for powerlifting in the Paralympics. He used to be there as well, but even the coach used to put more effort into me, kind of thing. So on the day that I was supposed to go to these championships, I felt like I'm not going to be able to perform. I'm going to end up sleeping. So I just never went there again. Do you know what I mean? I never went back to the gym again, and it was just, that was it. Like, you know.
So this was from the shooting?
Yeah, there was loads of things going on. There was shootings. There was loads of things going on at the party because there was a bit of a clash.
What type of party is this, man?
No, it was just actually a typical party. Like in the end, like,
and they just turn up shooting.
Yeah. There was a shooting did happen, and then there was a few people got stabbed. My mate got stabbed in his neck.
What was the beef over originally between, what did they say, Tottenham Wood Green? Was it
Tottenham Wood Green?
What was the beef over?
I don't know the the ins and outs because I wasn't there for the beginning. But what I do know is we was actually cool at first. You know, Tottenham Hall Green. A lot of the older lot from Hall Green could be classed as Tottenham as well because Tottenham's a big area and Hall Green's a small area. But I think like one of the Tottenham guys violated one of the Hall Green guys, and you know, it just kind of started from there. But you know, I would say, and now it's still going on, and I'd say it's been going on for like over 20 years now, probably.
So 2 people got stabbed. Were there any fatalities or anything?
No one died, no.
No.
No
They're
one
just
died.
seriously injured.
Yeah.
And you had to take your mate to the hospital.
Yeah. No, I didn't take him, but I went to the hospital. Do you know what I mean? Ambulance took him.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Strong.
that's kind of like how I messed up, because like I said, I had a scholarship for Loughborough, qualified for the 2008 Olympics. There was so much things that I could have done with my life, and I sometimes regret it, because it's like had I have just not gone to that party, I could have been something different. Do you know what I mean?
Everything happens for a reason, though.
Everything happens for a reason.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, yeah. So like I said, yeah, I ended up in country, and then ended up leaving college, and not doing college no more because I was making so much money selling drugs. Do you know what I mean? Which is another big mistake, because I feel like at least if I had some qualifications under my belt, it would have taught me further in life. Do you know what I mean? Or I would have felt like some sense of achievement.
But it's always attractive at the time, isn't it?
What would you mean?
The money.
Yeah, it's always,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
I think it's a great idea.
I used to think to myself like, and in the most naive way, I used to think to myself like, I'm making more than this teacher. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm making more than anyone in my class. So like, why am I gonna listen to these lot? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to be one of them lucky guys that never gets nicked or arrested or anything like that. And I just kind of thought, I'm never getting nicked. I'm just way too smart for this. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Start to feel invincible, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So earlier on then you said you decided to jack the elder. Was
Yeah.
there consequences for that, taking his stuff?
Yeah. There was consequences, but we also know olders, do you know what I'm saying? So it was a thing where I reached out to one of the older lot that I know, and my mate, he reached out to one of his older people. Phone calls was made, and it just kind of got squashed, because since then he knew exactly where I was working. I was working not far from his spot in Ipswich, so nothing happened, you know what I mean? I actually ended up meeting him in jail one time, and we was friends. Yeah, like I ended up meeting him like in jail, and I thought it was going to be on, but we was in HMP Norwich, because that's the local up them sides. And yeah, I thought it would have been on, but he was just like, yeah, man, it's cool. It wasn't a lot of, it wasn't a lot of drugs, man. It was probably like £700 worth of drugs. But
And did he know at the time you took it? Was it in his face kind of?
no, it wasn't in his face. We was working for him. Do you know what I mean? We was working for him, and one of the main reasons why I kind of came to that decision as well, wasn't just because I had my own opportunity, but that was the main reason. But it wasn't just because of that. He had told my guy working in Norwich that, yeah, we're going to pay you, because it's been a full week. So he was like, yeah, we're going to pay you, stay up there for another week, and then we'll pay you after that. And he was like, bro, I've got to go probation, because he was on probation. He's like, I got to go probation. Like, I can't stay out for another week. These times we're kids as well, yeah. So it's like, we're away from home for a long time. I'm making up excuses for where I'm at. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, bro, is this guy taking a piss? What does he mean another week?
Slow playing you.
Yeah, trying to slow play, man. And I was like, nah, that's not happening. I would just jerk him and take his things. Do you know what I mean? And then that's what I did, and just started up my own spot up there.
Wow. And how long was that going on for?
Years.
Years.
Yeah. It was actually really good. Like, it was actually, it was actually quite good business. It was better than Ipswich. So where he was, it's a main city. There's a lot of operations going on, a lot of police. But where I was, there's barely any police. And the way I set up the operation, it was like, because of my skin colour and because of the people that was working for me, because of their skin colour, and even if there was a white boy working on the line, I wouldn't have them step out of the house. You stay in the house and you just give the user what they need, and the user would sell the drugs. So whoever was up there at the time would never ever be seen. They would never get seen, because you stick out like a sore thumb over there. It's like a seaside. I think there's a seaside there, I'm not sure, but it's a small town, and they all know each other. There was another guy, there was one black person up there and his name was like Black Pete. do you know what I mean? Like there was one black guy up there, so it's like, you can't just be...
It's like that in Devon.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You'd stick out like a sore thumb. So the way I kind of had it was, you never go out. If you want something to eat, we'll pay the user, whoever's house it is, or the runner, we'll pay him to go and get it. All his shopping will be paid for anyway, so he would go in the shop and then bring all the food back, and I'd pay for that. And all you got to do is basically sit down, and when the phone rings, give whatever's needed to the user to go and sell the drugs.
Did you not get cabin fever being in so much?
Cabin fever.
Yeah, it's
I
when
don't know what that is. I've spent 10 years in jail.
Yeah, it's true that.
I don't know what cabin fever is. Do you know what it is? There's times back then, it was like, there's times where people was going for weeks without even having a shower. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're grinding and that's just what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Were you using the product?
Never, yeah. You never get high on your own supply.
I heard that.
But just in general, I think people from my area just know never to touch like white or B. Like, so brown or white, never touch it. Just only weed, you know? And that's what, that's just the rules, innit? And there's not a lot of people that actually from my area or from my era, because the older lot ended up smoking their own supply and that, but they didn't really know what crack was. But when you see what it does, you just never smoke it. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you yourself were putting your voice on the phone when people were calling for deals. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Were you not worried about the cops listening in?
No, I wasn't at the time. I knew all of their voices off by heart. Every time I changed the phone, it was just a text message, and then they would send it out to all their mates. A lot of it was very third party, so it was like, I would tell whatever user I'm working with at the time, I'll tell them, text all your mates, and then they will get hold of either the user, and the user will get a phone call, or sometimes we'll store it on our own line, but it was more call the user. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there was one or two people that was working for me that got arrested, that ended up getting arrested, and a few users that ended up getting arrested. But yeah, I had never been arrested.
And they didn't grass?
Nah, never grass, nah.
Because that's how they got us. Once they got one phone, then it spreads, then they get 5, then they get 15, and then they get, yeah.
So you didn't take on any new clientele?
Nah. It was just something that wasn't broken, so there was no need to fix it, kind of thing. And it was like, the phones was always getting changed, man. Do you know what I mean? Whatever phone I was using to contact those guys, it was always getting changed. I'd never had a contract until recent. I've never had like a contract phone until I just came out recently, the first contract I've ever had. But yeah, no phones ever got registered, and they would only get used. Yeah, like I said, because it's such a small town, you just kind of need anyone in the town's number to kind of get the message out. So I could keep changing the line. Some people have one line and they use it as their trap line for as long as they're there, and it kind of gets hot. But we didn't do it like that. It was just like constantly changing it. Do you know what I mean?
Really smart.
Yeah, you could say. But we were just in that position. Probably if it was in a bigger place like Ipswich or Norwich, you'd have to like use the set, because it would be hard to get certain numbers again. Some people don't know some people, but in this little town, everyone knew everyone. Everyone that used knew their mates and that they would use together, kind of thing. They was all working. They all had good jobs, and they would all spend like a lot of money.
What about the people who got arrested then? Did you give them legal benefits?
What's that mean? Oh, as in, was that
get them like bailed out and get them a lawyer or anything like that, so they won't snitch?
Oh no, it wasn't. That's more like American, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably speaking from like an American situation, because there's not, you know, I haven't really heard of over in the UK someone paying for bail, you know. I know a man that's put up his house, and he was on remand. He put up his house, and they still didn't give him bail. Do you know what I mean? So it's like in America, there's a set amount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'd never really heard of that over here.
Because we schooled all our users and runners.
Yeah.
If you get arrested, you call this lawyer, we bail you out right away, you plead the fifth, so no one would snitch.
Yeah. I think where we was, it was just like, don't snitch. Do you know what I mean?
Or else.
No, it's not even or else, bro. It's just, do you know what it is? It's just a code, and you know, nobody snitch, especially the users, you know, because you speaking about the last video I did when I was in the car, and they'd found a shotgun, and that was actually found in a user's house. So everyone got arrested for that, and nobody spoke, which is why, you know, which is why everyone ended up getting no further action, because it was a known house to police, that it was a known house that drug users come in and out, drug dealers come in and out of this house. So it could have been anyone's gun. Do you know what I mean? So
do you think that's down to your judgment of people as well, though? Because I imagine you got a lot of people coming to you for opportunities, and you're deciding which ones you're going to work with.
100%, yeah, 100%. And I did build relationships with these guys, man. Like, I found that when I was younger, people used to go to these places and take the piss out of these users, you know. I even call them users. I'm not calling them cats, kitties, nitties, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because they're people, and I kind of realised there was a lot that I learned in prison. But I was always cool with them. Like I said, I paid for their shopping, their food. Like, a lot of them have nothing in the house. They're spending all their money on drugs. But I would make sure that their cupboards were full. Whatever they needed, I'd give them. Do you know what I mean? There was never any violence or anything like that, and that kind of worked out. Like, so say for example, when people started finding out about this town and started trying to set up shop, they would tell me and they would set it up so I can rob them, do you know, and get them out of the town. Do you know what I mean? Or I can get people to do it. And there's sometimes like I could even get like a user to go in there and rob them, do you know what I mean? And kind of get them out of business. So there was a big loyalty that I had with them. Because before me, there was this girl that she was a user herself, and, you know, she wasn't really doing much. And then after that, it was me. And I think I was probably like one of the first people from London to really come up and set up shop over there.
You're a fair boss.
And yeah, I was really, really fair. And I didn't deal with anyone like it was beneath me or anything like that. Everyone just got what they deserved, kind of thing. And yeah, nobody ever snitched.
Did any of them do time once you got caught?
Yeah, but one worker did time, and there was one. Users were getting arrested, but because they're users, they was getting arrested and coming out. Like, they would get arrested with drugs, and it's like, all right, you get. I forgot what it used to be called, but it's like, what's that thing called where they will release you, but you got to do a drug program?
Oh God.
I forgot what the name of it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But you'd get released, like, having to do this drug program, like, and
rehabilitation.
Yeah, it's a rehabilitation program. Yeah, and yeah, that was it. So it's like they kind of knew if they got arrested, it wouldn't be that deep, kind of thing. And when I actually did get arrested up there, they had said to me that they've been on me for a very long time, you know, because like I said, I was there for years, you know, never ever got nicked. And then when they finally got me, it was just like, yeah,
wow,
they was kind of happy to get me. And
was that your first arrest?
Not arrest in general, but it was not my first arrest in general, but it was the first time I had been arrested for drugs.
What was your first arrest?
Section 5 firearm, pepper spray, something silly.
Oh, what, you just had a bit of pepper spray?
Yeah, I had a bit of pepper spray. I was like 15 or 16. Went to a party in Edmonton, and we had beef with the Edmonton a lot of these times as well. And then someone's just pulled up. He pulled a gun out. We're all just running down the road. We're jumping over fences and things like this. And then we've ended up in someone's back garden, and then the door was open. The back door was open, so we've all kind of gone in there. Was hiding kind of thing, and then whoever's house it was obviously called police, and then do you know what I mean? But we didn't know that they called police, do you know what I mean? And then they've just turned up to the house, and then I had pepper spray on me, and it's just silliness, do you know what I mean?
What was the charges on that?
Section 5 firearm.
Yeah, but what did you get charged with, like?
I got cautioned.
Caution?
Yeah, I got cautioned. That was the first time I'd been arrested. Since then, it's like driving offences, like small things. And then I eventually got nicked for the drugs.
So how was the arrest? How did that go down?
So this is it. And it would never have happened, but it was like, so somebody that was working for me, the way he kind of had it, like, so the way I've had my thing set up, like I've explained to you guys, like, is don't leave the house, the user will sell everything, whatever. And then, so the guy I was paying, he thought, and he was quite naive to this, I reckon, I don't know, but he thought, you know what, I'm never gonna, I'm just gonna go back to London and let the user sell it because it was going off the user's line anyway, so that they used to ring the user's line. So what he did was, he left, I think it was like 2 ounces, one of each, like one of white, one of B. And he went back to London and kind of left it with the user because, like, you know, you do get close with them, you live together kind of thing. And he just kind of trusted him to do that. But the reason why I'm paying you, I could have just paid the user to go and do that. But the reason I'm paying you is to hold on to it because you can't give an addict that much drugs, do you know what I mean? So then...
He's broke the protocol here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone home, didn't tell me. So I'm trying to call him, he's not picking up. I'm calling the user, he's not picking up. So I've called like one of my certified users over there, like he was like on action. So I've called him, like, go over to my man's house. And then he's gone to the house, he's like, oh, D, you're not gonna like this. He's saying that the house got raided, they had to flush it down the toilet. He's like, listen, don't listen to that. He smoked it all. I know he smoked it. He's high as fuck. You know, do you know what I mean? And I was like, what the fuck? But I couldn't even blame the user because, you know, it's in front of
Temptation.
you.
Of course.
Exactly. So I couldn't even blame him. But it was like, I've had to now come up myself, and I haven't been up there for years. Do you know what I mean? I had different people going up there, but I didn't myself been up there for years. So because I didn't want to take another loss or risk it with anybody, I had to come up myself, and I was breaking it down into like, okay, I'm just going to drop off a quarter of each. And when you're finished, give me a shot, whatever. So I was in a bed and breakfast, still never left the house. I would just catch a cab, drop off a quarter of each. When it's finished, it might be finished in like an hour or 2 hours or whatever. Drop off another quarter of each. And what had happened was, one day I've called the phone early in the morning and the phone's off, but sometimes they sleep.